Hey, hello, welcome back. Hope you're doing good. If you're new, I'm Katie and welcome to another bookish adventure. So today we're finally going to be doing my review for Children of Blood and Bones. I actually filmed this probably sometime last month before, but I wasn't entirely happy with it, and then I think I had that random break and I thought, oh, I'll do it afterwards, and then kind of just never got round to it and I accidentally deleted it, so yeah. But however, I am kind of happy because it wasn't 100% happy with the review, I think. So this review will contain a non-spoiler, which will obviously be first, and then going into a little bit of spoiler just so I can, you know, express my emotions a little bit more. So I'll probably put the book down when I hit the spoilers. So this book, I have waited so long to read it, and I don't know why I did, because I freaking love this book. It was amazing. It was just, oh, I cannot wait for the sequel. So the brief kind of summary, if I can make it as brief as I can. Orisha is a place where magic has gone. It was once thriving, and Magi had a whole host of different abilities, which is something I really love, and with each ability there is like a deity associated with it, so I really loved it. And it wasn't just your bog standard, you know, earth, wind, fire, all that stuff. Like there is a whole other host of ones, like disease, which also covers, you know, life, illness. It was just so cool. I also love that at the front of this book it included all the different ones, so the different Magi clans. I really loved that because obviously, you know, they are mentioned within the book. Whether all of them are covered, I don't know. Like I feel like I've just seen one which is a Magi of time, a Magi of animals, health and disease, light and darkness. Yeah, I really love it. I just loved that there was a whole scope of them, and then yeah, they had their gods to go with it. Magic kind of just disappears, and the king of Orisha uses this moment to seize his opportunity to do something called the raid, and that was when he went in and he slaughtered, like full-on mass slaughter. So this book takes place after that fact, and instead of kind of, you know, okay, maybe not wiping the slate clean, the descendants of who are left, whether that's children, adults, their abilities are obviously gone. Some of them were young enough that they never had them, others had them and now don't. They are very distinguishable with their white hair. They are all like treated basically less than low, like second class citizens. Like it is awful. They are called maggots, you know, they're easily identifiable. They're taxed ridiculously heavily. They are full on just really oppressed. There is no equal footing for them, even though magic is gone. It's such a weird thing because with this book I never expected to feel so conflicted, because I kind of get it. Prior to the raid they were living in a sense of fear because, you know, magic and abilities aside, we unfortunately live in a society where people naturally are power hungry and are greedy and will take what they can, and if you have an ability, kind of makes it easier. So in someone in this who has an affinity of earth, you could level a whole town. Someone who has an affinity with water could flood a village, and so that is kind of why the king does this. They slaughtered his family. That was not his justification, but that was his kind of, his father before him had wanted to live in a world where everyone lived together and peacefully and wonderfully, and to have a society together with magicals and non, and that happened. So I get there is that ingrained fear for people who don't have magic. I do get it. I never expected to feel so conflicted. So as the story went on, I appreciate that that was taken into account. So Amari, who is one of the characters that this focuses on, her mother was one of the Magi, and she was slain and she was hung, and she saw it all as a child, and that is something that she lives with. Like it is very much on the surface. It's not something she's ever really gotten over. One day she stumbles across the path of the princess, and it kicks everything in motion that there is this secret scroll that has the ability to bring back magic to anyone who touches it. However, it is for a limited time, and she must travel to, I think it's an island, to make it permanent. So she has the very scary and heavy fate and burden of she could bring back magic to people who had it, to people like her who were too young and never got to have it. They have a chance to free their people. We have 4 characters, and that is Zelly, Amari, I think I may have said Amari by accident then, I meant Zelly. So Zelly, Amari, Inan and Zane. So Amari and Zane, oh my god, Zelly and Zane are brother and sister, and he weirdly enough is the only one who doesn't have a point of view, which I think was really strange because he goes with her. He is part of the trio who go to try and bring back magic. So I thought it was very strange. So you only get to know him from her and Amari's point of view. It's very bizarre, and I would love to know his point of view because his relationship with his sister is definitely very strange. She's kind of occasionally makes some dumb decisions. She sort of acts first. She's forever kind of the opinion that, you know, he is frustrated with her, he is annoyed annoyed with her, angry with whatever. And it would have actually been nice to see that, and also to see how the raid and how their mother's death had affected him. I would have loved to have seen that, because with Zelly, she is so just emotional and so fraught and so angry. It would have been so good to see that from his point of view, to see how he has coped, how he has grown and changed, and yeah, his just general thoughts on this whole thing. So Amari is the princess, and she's the one who kind of kicks this into gear. She's the one who finds the scroll and decides to leave, to run, to take this thing. She has zero plan, and I have to say her character really does develop, and I'm so excited, and I really hope for the second book that she really comes into her own, because her father's family previously had been slaughtered. It's like, okay, I got a new chance, I got a second chance. However, he makes them like spar each other, he makes them fight, he really pushes them. He basically child abuses his children because he wants them to be strong. It's crazy. And so yeah, there is definitely that, you know, she struggles to fight, she struggles to be strong because she's been so broken by her own family. However, there is that fire within her that made her think, I'm taking this scroll and I'm running. But yeah, the girl has zero plan. It is by chance that she stumbles across Zelly, and yeah, it kicks it all into gear. I needed Zelly just to get over the fact that the princess was the princess, because I was wanting an enemies to lovers for the two of them, but I didn't get that. But I was happy with what I got. I still want it. And you see, yeah, she was obviously very unwilling to accept her, and I get that, because you would. This is the king's daughter. I get why you wouldn't. However, the girl has some balls to do what she did, to flee and take that scroll, which is basically a death sentence, is a big thing. So then lastly, we have her brother, who is Anan, and he's the one who is charged with finding her and recovering the scroll at any cost. He is, oh baby, I was rooting for Anan. Anan very much reminds me of Jaime Lannister, because you just, god damn it, you just want to hug him. Again, he is very broken by his father, and he's been molded into his like worldview, you know, the Magi are awful, disgusting, we must fear them, we can't trust them, and yeah, and he is just, him and his sister were close, but they're not anymore. And his dad is pretty much like, you bring that scroll back at any cost, even if that means killing her. So obviously he wants to do it at any cost, which involves bringing her back alive. And he goes on his whole own journey, which was so good. And this book was just so full of just emotionalness, and especially towards the end, and just the plot and the emotional side for the characters were such a driving force for this book. It was just amazing. I can't, spoilery stuff, this is so hard. I am really intrigued about where his character is going to go for this second book. I kind of had a gut feeling, but kind of kept trying to push it aside on where it could go. Now in this next book, I'm really kind of like, oh okay, because he does want a better kingdom. He really does, but he doesn't want it in the sense of how his father does. And I think he can see rationally that if magic comes back, it is going to be an all-out war. And this is something I love, the fact that Zelly starts to think of this more and more, that, you know, they can't just start letting people touch this scroll, because all-out anarchy is gonna break out. And you know, people are angry, people have been living oppressed, and you know, you give someone with the wrong person their power back, that's kind of it. They could just go on a full-on killing spree. I really appreciate the fact that she wasn't just letting people touch the scroll left, right and center, and she actually was taking into account, shit, if we do this, what are going to be the repercussions of this? And I think that is something that was really important, because you're about to start a war pretty much. So the world building in this book was fantastic. Like I said, you know, you have the Magi, you have their gods who are associated with that power, and every place that they travel to on their journey, everything was just so well built. So you get to see how the lack of like magic has affected that place. Oh my god, I loved it so much, and I think it really helped with the plot, because it kind of meant that different memories, different things helped drive the story, especially with things in regards of like flashbacks for Zelly and her mum and the emotions that were tied to that. It wasn't all just a massive info dump. It was spread out quite well. The pacing was also really good. You know, they were constantly on the move, constantly traveling. You know, it was never stagnant. And I think because it goes through the 3 point of views, it definitely helped keep it moving, because you know, Anan is trying to catch up with them whilst dealing with his own shit, and then they're obviously trying to get ahead, trying to make their way to this island without being caught, and obviously they're freaking carrying a princess with them. It was brilliant. I really don't know where the second one is gonna go. How it ended is quite, oh, okay. So yeah, I feel like there is so much more potential now for Amari's character to really just bring something else. In Anne, I am just, what the hell? Really hoping Zayn gets an actual point of view, because he's quite 2D because of the fact you don't really know how he feels about everything, about his sister's decision. You know, he is a lot more willing to embrace Amari and let her be, you know, travel with them, and he is very much like, come on, you know, Zelly, like lay off her, because, you know, she's not used to camping, all the hardships and stuff like that. So yeah, I want to know why. It can't just be because he's thinking with his penis, like that can't just be it. I would have wanted to have known more from his point of view, which made me kind of think, oh, he's gonna be a throwaway character, he's probably gonna die, was kind of how I looked at him, which was really awful. But yeah, that is it for the spoiler-free section. Oh, this book was amazing. I cannot wait for the sequel. I really recommend it. So the main thing I wanted to talk about, and maybe I don't know how to rant, and that is in Anne. Oh my god, the emotional roller coaster. And this is something, again, I want to understand. Why was Zelly so willing to just trust him? And I feel like that has to be to do with the fact that he can understand her on an emotional level without her actually having to talk about her trauma and actually really explain herself, because I can't think of anything else why she's willing to with him but not with his sister. And then going forward, their relationship, very lovely, but that horrible gut feeling of shit. I think it was one of those things that I was thinking, he's betrayed them way back before, and then it's going to be that typical, actually he becomes to trust them and he becomes their friend, but he's already betrayed them way back and the soldiers are coming. I was kind of thinking it was going to be that. Oh no, the big standoff with Daddy Dearest. Oh, that torture scene was brilliant, heartbreaking and brilliant and amazing and awful, so awful. I remember cringing whilst reading it. Oh god, the end of that book just really took to another level, especially the emotional side of it, because he betrayed her, but not exactly. And it's so sad because he wants a better world for them. He is unfortunately looking at it very pragmatically, and the way the book has ended, it has kind of set it up for him to potentially now be the villain, which is awful, because he is now obviously convinced, yeah, people shouldn't have magic because, like, look at the chaos that can unfold. I mean, I cannot tell you how much I was rooting for that baby to really just grow and just, you know, embrace that he has these abilities. And yeah, god damn it, because I love the fact that, yeah, he is obviously initially reluctant to use them, and then I love the fact that he's like, okay, fine, I will use them to try and track them down, and then no one will ever know because I'll get rid of magic and it will all be a big secret. His determination to try and just prove to his father that he is worth it and deserving of love, and it's just so sad but so good. I'm intrigued to see where this is going to go, and, you know, the fact that Amari is going to have to probably face off against her brother, which she was pretty much willing to do anyway, which I thought was very interesting. I kind of thought there would be more hesitation from her, but I was actually very surprised that she was quite willing to go against him. But now the king is dead, yeah, I'm interested to see his story now, because it is kind of set up to be a villain, but not exactly. Like, it's not his fault. He definitely does want a better Orisha, but I think he would be more willing to be like, fine, like, no magic, burn the scroll, however, we're going to elevate all citizens to be equal. I feel like he would be more of that footing, whereas his father is like, no, ground him to the dirt. His, I think, story is definitely going to arc over 2 books, because it felt like we had a turning point and then we just went right back round, and it's kind of like he's the reluctant villain. So yeah, I'm so interested to see where it's going to go in the next one. The potential that his sister now has power as well, which, again, why didn't that happen when she touched the scroll? Why is it only now? I'm very excited for it. I can't believe I waited so long. I was an idiot. I think we've established this very easily. If you've read this book, then please comment below, tell me your thoughts on it. What did you think? World building, characters, what are you hoping for the second book? If you haven't read it, or if you have read the second book, am I going to love it as much? Does it disappoint? I think it's smaller than the first book, which actually did surprise me, made me worry slightly, I won't lie, because it's a bit like, oh, why is it smaller? If you enjoyed this video and you want to give it a thumbs up, do that, and if you want to subscribe, do that too, and never miss a video. I hope you have a good weekend. I've got the weekend off. I'm so happy. Actually, I just had the weekend off that's just been, I guess, once the time this is posted, and I've got the next one coming, which I have 2 in a row. Never happens. However, it does mean I'm pretty exhausted for all the week. I hope you have a great day, and I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you in the next one.